Hey, it's Mark Wickersham here, and in this video I want to share with you the answer to one of the most common questions I get. Questions I see in all sorts of Facebook groups, online forums and so on. A lot of accountants and bookkeepers say to me, what should I be charging as an hourly rate? Particularly bookkeepers who are those that are starting their journey in their business. What should the hourly rate be? So I decided a little while ago to go and find out what it is that the profession is pricing. How are they pricing? And if they're using hourly rates, what are those hourly rates? I did a survey of 2,683 accounting professionals a little while back to go deep into exactly how are we pricing bookkeeping services in this profession. And that survey consisted of some qualified accountants, both certified bookkeepers and non-certified or non-credentialed, and some unqualified bookkeepers. And you can see on the screen here how that was split. Mainly accountants and CPAs and then bookkeepers. So what I asked was, one of the questions in the survey was, if you price based on an hourly rate, what is that hourly rate? And this graph shows the findings of that. So let me explain firstly what the graph is showing. What we did is we took all the 2,683 responses and we ranked them in order. And from that, we then excluded the top and the bottom 3%, because there are always some anomalies in data, so it's more statistically sound if we can remove the outliers. So we removed the top and the bottom 3%. And then what we did is what we had left, we looked at what is the lowest price, what was the level at the 25% point, which is called the first quartile, what's the 50%, which is the median, it's a form of average, or the second quartile. We looked at the third quartile, and then at the top end, what was the top price once we'd taken out the top 3%. So think of it, if you like, as the 97th percentile. And that's exactly what the graph is showing. So let's look at the numbers. So at the bottom end, and by the way, this study had people all over the world, and what we did is we converted the numbers all into US dollars for consistency at the prevailing rates of exchange. And so these numbers are in US dollars. At the bottom end, the cheapest rates, hourly rates for bookkeeping, was $19 an hour, which is an incredibly low rate. That's a crazy cheap price. At the 25% level, it was $31, and what that means is that 25% of people in the profession charge $31 or less. Perhaps a more interesting number is, what's the average? What's the average? And interestingly, when we ranked all the 2,500 sets of data, the average number, the middle one, was $40 an hour. So that's the average around the world. The next quartile is 60. That means 25% of people charge between $40 and $60 an hour. And then at the top end was $125 an hour. And 25% of course charge between $60 and $125. So a few things that we can take from this analysis. The first thing that strikes me is the huge range of prices, from 19 over here to right up here, $125. And that tells us something very, very clearly. It tells us that there is no market price for bookkeeping services. Often people think there's a market price. If there was a market price, we would see the prices much, much narrowly defined, in a narrower band. But we see prices everywhere. The prices are all over the place, from 19 to 125. People do not have a clue how to price bookkeeping services. It's completely random, the process. So that's the first thing we learned from it. That's a huge range of prices. There is no such thing as a market price, which makes logical sense because bookkeeping is not a commodity. It's not a commodity, and therefore it's a service, and therefore our prices are individual to us. There's no market price, and therefore what that means is we should not be setting our prices based on what the firm down the road does, because the firm down the road has no idea either. What we can see from this data, and this is analysis, is that some accounting professionals, CPAs, accountants, bookkeepers, have found a different way and have found a way to charge much, much higher prices. Not by 5, 10, 15%, but by multiples of that. The range from 19 to 125 is staggering. And the last thought I'll leave you with is, yes, we looked at hourly rates and what people should be charging, but in the research report I then went on to look at, well, what about people who are using fixed pricing or flat fees or menu pricing or got some form of value pricing system in place. And one of the things we found in the survey is that even though hourly rates is still the most common pricing methodology in our profession for bookkeeping, it's not a great way of pricing. If you want to find out more, and if you want to find out the exact prices that people charge for different services, then go and grab a copy of the research report. I've put some links below this video, some links to some other free resources for you, but including a link to a sample 36-page report that goes through the data in much more detail and shares with you some more of the findings from the benchmarking study. So if you want to find out more, go and find the links on this page, grab those free resources, and I'll see you again on another video. Bye for now.